When you look at this version of Kratos, do you see a man who found peace, or do you see a man still haunted by his past?
That's a tough question. Welcome back to Talk Parlor number 13. I'm Adam.
And I'm Jordan.
How are you doing today, Jordan?
Doing pretty good, Adam. How are you doing?
Not bad. Man, what a freaking wonderful week this has been.
Yeah, this has been quite the week. Yeah, busy week.
Yeah, busy week,
Yep.
fantastic week. I think a lot of that has to do with the snow's melting off, the sunshine is out, and it's a little bit warmer.
Just a touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I mean a little bit warmer, I mean we're like 40 degrees, between 30 and 40 degrees. But hey, you know what? That's 30 or 40 degrees warmer than it was last week. So
much better than the -3.
Yeah. So anyway, on to the first segment of
our recap. So last week, we had the eye challenge that we had to do. We had to do an eye, an ink pen, and a fine line dot shading style. How'd you feel about that one?
Honestly, the drawing, I felt great about. Loved my piece. I did not perform well.
Oh, I wouldn't even worry about that, man. Still people really enjoyed yours.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did. I just, quite honestly, I mean, I legitimately joked about it in the beginning when we were collaborating and you were sending me pictures and stuff back and forth. And like I said, I was joking about it, but I'm like, you sent me a picture. I'm like, what am I even doing this for?
Right.
So the piece that you put out was just phenomenal.
Thank you.
I mean, just straight up phenomenal. There's no beating around the bush about it. You can't, because it's just good freaking artwork. And
Thanks.
You did a freaking bang job.
Thanks, Adam. I appreciate it. A whole lot.
I don't know.
I think we both put out really nice pieces last week. They both had their own characteristics and their own feelings, and it was just a good week.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
The vote ended up with mine at 77% and Adam's at 23%. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool week. All right, I guess on to the next. Yeah, so this week's challenge, we had to do Kratos from God of War, the video game. And how did you feel about the dice gracing us with this challenge?
Well, I mean, I don't know I don't know God of War. I don't know Kratos. I knew going into this, when we first decided to put video game character on the list, that I was going to have to do a God of War character or Kratos.
Yeah.
Because that was an agreement that we come up with, that we get to do Link. The next time we got to do Kratos, or vice versa.
Right, yeah.
We also left that up to dice.
Did we roll dice, or did we flip a coin?
We rolled dice.
Yeah.
Above 10.
Right.
I got to do Link. Below 10, Jordan got to do Kratos. That's how we wound up with doing Link in the first, and it just automatically switched over to Kratos next. So, with that being said, I knew going into this that at some point I was going to have to do Kratos. But that still did not mean I knew I didn't know what he was. I don't know the game.
Right.
And based on conversation with us, this game, it's not like Zelda. It's not like Mario. It's not like some of these other games. There's an actual storyline to it.
Oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful storyline.
There are storylines to those other games that I have stated, but it's not this type of storyline.
Exactly.
And one that has carried through from what sounds like the very first game to what it is now.
Yeah.
All these other games that I've mentioned, they're a different storyline every game that comes out. So this one's it is kind of built. And I think when you build to a certain, when you build a storyline like that, like they've done in this particular game, then you garner an audience.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay? Or a following. And when you start dabbling in that arena, of people that know what the crap they're talking about.
Yeah.
You have to make very smart
Right.
decisions because you don't want to do something that's not part of that character
Mhm.
because you'll lose real quick.
Right.
Providing we have a lot of people that know who Kratos is.
Mhm.
You know, some people are not going to know who Kratos is. They're just going to know what they like best.
Yeah.
But either way, I just wanted to make sure it was done right.
Yeah, definitely.
And it scared me a bit when we rolled it because I'm just like, holy cow, this is happening.
And there's so much with this character too.
Right. However, I felt like we got a bit of a break when it come to color palette and we got to do true colors.
Yes, I agree. It was really nice this week not having to worry about staying in that parameter.
Correct.
And we just did the true colors of kind of what we wanted to do,
Right.
you know?
The American traditional side of it, when you take something such as a video game character that is kind of its own artwork group altogether, its own artwork style altogether, or you take something else, whatever it might be, and you try to take it from that and you transform it into something different,
Complicated.
it complicates it.
It was hard. That was we can get into that later with challenges and stuff, but man, that was really complicated this week. And I'll say whenever we got this dice roll, and you saw like how disappointed I was whenever we rolled American traditional for such an amazing character, in my eyes, such an amazing character. And I was like, gosh dang, man, how do we make this work? Like, are we going to do this character justice? Are we going to have fun with this? We got to paint Kratos an American traditional. Holy cow, was that overwhelming?
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, how do we do it?
Well, and then you said something, paint.
Mm-hmm.
It's an acrylic paint challenge.
Yeah.
That, for me, adds a different level of stress, much like alcohol markers add to you.
Ooh, I see what you're saying
Okay,
there, right?
because I've yet to win a paint challenge. Whether it's watercolor or acrylic, I've yet to win one.
Right.
And so what we do is fun, okay? Doesn't mean you don't want to win still.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I totally get that. And that's like, backtracking to the landscape impressionism challenge that we did. I was so, not defeated, not really disappointed, but I was like, man, I had such high hopes that like I would get that one. And granted, at the end of the day, like we're not winning prizes or anything like that. But, it is a competition for us. No matter how friendly it is, like we still compete every single week on these. So I tried so hard. I put my heart and soul into that thing. And I was like, oh, just got to try again next time.
Yeah.
Alcohol markers will be back on the menu.
And
so
that's just it. That's just it. You said it perfectly. You just got to try again next time.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's the nuts and bolts of it. I mean,
and what's neat is like we see the improvement with every challenge on these things.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It was funny you said prizes a while ago.
Uh-huh.
I wrote it down because there was a point in time we did discuss doing prizes. I'm telling you right now, I'm glad I didn't ever agree to that because Jordan would have all kinds of stuff and Adam's wife would not be happy with him.
There would be a few weeks in a row where you would have all kinds of stuff too, man.
That is true. That is true. But anyway,
yeah,
fun little tidbit there. But yeah, I just it had some ups and it had some downs. I think that's the best way to put that.
Yeah, ups and downs
of how I felt. My feelings were up on some parts, down on others.
Right.
So
good point.
Real quick, something else I would like to point out, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We are at 244 followers.
Yeah, we're growing up a little bit. We're growing up a little bit.
Yeah. I just thought that was kind of cool, and I didn't really know where else to fit that in. But
yeah, we're still starting slow and everything, but we get at least 20 to 30% of our followers that are voting every single week.
And that's a good number.
And that is a good number. And so even though, we're still small with the 244, our insights are good. So that's nice. And honestly, like, I dig it. You know, I like that we know most of these people
Well,
and we can like engage with these people as
yeah.
well throughout the week and stuff.
I like the slow growth.
I like the slow growth also, and that's what this has all been about. You know, even earlier we were looking at our little $15 mics that we first started with. Oh my gosh, watch that podcast. The audio is horrible.
The audio's horrible. The video's not
Right.
great.
We're in the corner of Adam's bedroom with black sheets hanging up on the wall, using tape, using little
Oh my
pins, and
gosh.
all sorts of things, man.
It's crazy where it's come from.
Yeah, yeah.
So, anyway, yeah, I just wanted to
Interesting.
toss that in there. I thought that was pretty cool
Yeah,
when you
slow
told me that
growing.
earlier. I think we're ready to move on. Well, how did you
Yeah.
feel? Wait, I mean, you didn't really say how you felt. You
Well,
just kind of,
yeah, I'll say again, you know, I was just really overwhelmed. I was so excited to finally get Kratos though. I've been wanting to draw this guy for a long time, and I would still like to draw him in realism, you know, I love realism. Um and I think that would be nice. Or doing like a fantasy illustration scene with him
I,
would be cool too.
yeah, yeah. I felt a little bad, because like when we got Link, like you couldn't ask for a better role.
I know.
It was like Link,
Watercolors,
watercolor,
fantasy
illustration. I mean, it was like ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
And then I legitimately felt bad. Like I watched the defeat come over her face, guys. I mean,
Right.
that's what it was.
Right.
It was like
Yeah.
she was so excited,
I
because
go, Kratos!
yeah, because we roll for subject matter first, and she's so excited,
Yeah.
and I knew she was excited. Now she probably seen the defeat on my face at that point because I'm like, man, I don't freaking know.
Right. You're like,
You know?
oh.
And
He
then
goes, I don't know, Kratos. And I'm like, it's okay, it's fine.
yeah, and then we roll
Paint.
for paint, and she's like, I think she's good with paint.
It's alright.
She's good with paint. And then I roll for the style and get American traditional, and I mean, any joy that was there was gone. I mean, it was like a light switch,
Right.
Like, boom.
Just like, are you kidding me?
And I was like,
we have 12 different styles to choose from, and I think we have an artist choice on there as well now. And then that's what we get. Just, gosh dang.
and so
then also we had just separated our Neo and our American Trad.
Just
separate them too.
Yep.
And I was like, back doing this again, man.
And so, yeah, there was a part of me that just legitimately felt bad for it because I was so excited when we got to do Link. I mean, you couldn't ask for better roles. It just
Right.
lined up perfectly. And then this is like, just,
oh joy.
yeah.
Thank
And I'm
God
like-
we got the true colors.
I even
though.
said, Jordan, I said, we can do a different video game character.
Yeah.
Like if you really don't want to do Kratos on this, and I am perfectly okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
After everything was all said and done, I said, we can do a different video game character. We don't have to do Kratos on this particular challenge. And then when the roles get right,
Mm-hmm.
because it will happen,
Right.
then we could do Kratos then. And she's man, I commend her.
Yeah.
Because I'd have been like, yeah, what are we going to do?
Right.
We're going to do some Mario. We're going to do,
I was actually thinking, and this would have worked out very well, I believe, for American Traditional, doing Arthur Morgan or John Marston from Red Dead Redemption.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I
That's what
think
you were
that
saying.
would have been a great American Trad challenge.
Yeah.
Especially with paint and true colors, I think.
And see,
Our
that's
images would've
something
been-
I know a little bit about because my kids play Red Dead
Right,
Redemption.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and they don't let me play it because when they've handed, I've asked to play it, and then they hand me the controller, and I'm like, oh,
3 hours later, Dad, can I play? No. Go clean your room. I'm just kidding.
well, no, they won't let me play because there's a stat in the game,
Oh, yeah.
and if you just start running around killing people,
Yeah, you get
the stat goes,
dishonor.
"Yoom."
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they'll hand me the controller, and I'm like,
Right.
die, die.
I told Bree I let her play Red Dead once, right? And she's playing on my file, and I was like, if anything happens, okay, just turn it off. Just turn it off. Don't let anything save. Just turn it off.
Don't let
she's
anything
she's
save.
playing all night long. Okay, she like immediately gets hooked. She does not play video games, so she's like, "Oh, I like to steal horses." Okay, so she's playing on my 5. She runs out of the saloon, jumps on a horse. It's not my horse. She steals a horse on accident. And so then she takes off. She makes it like, I don't know, probably like 20 feet in the game. And she's got everybody shooting at her, trying to kill her because she stole this horse. And then she runs into the hotel and then kills herself and the horse. And so she just turns it all off and she's like, what have I done? I wake up the next day. And she's like, Jordan, I don't know if it's saved, but this is what happened. And I was like, what? Why'd you do that? What do you mean? Like... She also, whenever she plays, she gets square and circle mixed up. So punch the horse. It's hilarious.
gosh,
It's so
that's
funny. She's like, oh no. I'm like, why are you, gosh.
Why are you hitting the horse?
Right.
What did the horse have
What did the horse do to you? And it looks so violent in the game, too.
Oh, it does.
Boom! And then it does.
It absolutely does.
It's terrible. Happens to the best of us, man.
Ooh, yeah, so anyway, I don't, you'd mentioned that those would be 2 characters that would be great to do. I do know a little bit about them, much more about them than I do Kratos. But, yeah.
Yeah, Kratos was still good.
That's not what happened, and that's not what you chose, so
right.
This is, what we did. So.
Yeah.
How about that research?
All right, so, research, we've kind of just decided that Jordan will just do the research.
Yeah, because like in typical Adam fashion, it didn't get done yet again this week. Right. So, but I think she come up with some pretty good stuff, and I had a little bit I added into it.
Yeah, you did. So, for American traditional, we've touched on it before, but we've never truly touched on American traditional itself. So a lot of people still ask where American traditional even came from because it's still everywhere today, very popular style. And it actually goes way back to the early 1900s, mostly around parts of military towns and also ports and sailors and soldiers whenever they were traveling the world. And tattoos were like souvenirs for them. The anchors, the ships, eagles, roses, pinups, stuff like that meant something. It reminded them of where they had been. So back then, tattoo equipment, and this is a tattoo style, tattoo equipment and ink were super limited. So artists had to keep everything bold and simple, thick black lines, strong colors, nothing too detailed. Because if you didn't do it that way, it wouldn't last. One of the biggest names in that era, which is where Adam comes in, is Sailor Jerry, who tattooed Navy guys in Hawaii during World War II. He really helped lock in this style with the bold outlines, clean designs, and colors that would still look good years later. Another big influence was Bert Grimm, who helped spread that classic look through tattoo shops all over the country. And what's cool is the reason American traditional still works today is because it was built to last from the start. It wasn't about trends. It was about making something that would still look solid 20 to 30 years later, which I think that we see a lot of. Even now, whether you're doing traditional, neo-traditional, or mixing it into modern styles, a lot of it still comes back to those early rules. Bold outlines, bold lines, strong contrast, and clean designs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that sums it up pretty well.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, actually, Sailor Jerry is not his real name. It's Norman something. I can't remember his last name. Let's say you got an anchor, as a tattoo. But depending on where that anchor is at on your body also means something different.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Nice.
So, little interesting tidbit that just not, the anchor itself means something, but based on where it's at on your body can also mean something different.
Interesting.
Too. Yeah.
Very cool.
So, I love American traditional.
Me too.
I really freaking love American traditional. There's just something simple about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what I like. It's simple, it's bold, and like you said, it's meant to last a long time.
Exactly. And I think that's one of my most favorite things about it. I have the Lord of the Rings American traditional style tattoo that I designed on my leg, and gosh, it's one of my favorite ones. I love it so much.
Yep. Looks like you may have done some research on Kratos, possibly?
Yeah. So let's talk about Kratos for a second. Because this guy, in my opinion, is basically one of the most iconic characters in gaming. And he comes from the God of War series, which first dropped back in 2005, and right away he stood out. Bald head, red tattoo, chains on his arms, covered in ash. Like you saw him once, you won't forget him. You know that you've seen this guy before. So originally, Kratos was based on Greek mythology. He's a Spartan warrior who gets tricked by the gods, loses his family, and basically turns into this rage fueled machine, bent on revenge and just rage, very angry guy. The early games were all about anger and violence and him just tearing through Mount Olympus. And the crazy part is that this was not by accident. The developers at Santa Monica Studio, the people that make the game, wanted him to feel larger than life, almost like a walking Greek tragedy. He's not supposed to be perfect. He's supposed to be broken, angry, and haunted by what he's done. Then years later, the series gets rebooted. We know this Kratos a lot more, I think, among the people. Not everybody has played the old games. And that's where things really change. With Cory Barlog leading the project, they reimagined Kratos as older, quieter, and way more emotional. Now he's in Norse mythology, raising his son, Atreus, and trying not to repeat his past mistakes. So instead of just being an angry god killer, he becomes this layered character, still dangerous, still powerful, but also tired, guilty, and trying to do better. And honestly, that's why people connect with him so much now. We've watched him grow up, we've seen him at his worst, and now we're seeing him try to do right. So that's neat. And he's still a monster in combat, very strong guy, but he's also a father and he's a teacher and he's someone trying to break the cycle that he was in before. So Kratos isn't just a video game character anymore. He's one of the best character arcs in gaming, from pure rage to now controlled strength.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of it, most of it,
Yeah.
didn't know a bit about.
Any questions on Kratos?
There was, I found it kind of interesting how they actually, to me, I feel like they designed a game around a character. Maybe one day I'll get to play the video games.
I think you should. It's an incredible story and it's really fun to play. I've tried to go back and play the beginning games again, and the gameplay itself is kind of hard to get into just because now we're so spoiled with graphics and how just the game controls are overall. So it's
Right.
kind of hard to deal with that and get used to that. But the new games, awesome.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, I think with that, we should move into design phase.
Yeah. Let's talk about yours. Let's talk about your design.
Oh boy.
And we should also note as well in Adam's piece, his Kratos is the newer Kratos that we know, which is the older Kratos, bearded.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one with the controlled strength now. And then in mine, I did the younger, rageful Kratos.
Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you always plan on doing the young Kratos?
No, not really. But I think...
What influenced your decision on that?
Honestly, his face. Because I wanted that look that the young, rageful Kratos gives because I have the storm in the background. Mine's a little angry.
I was just kind of curious. Design phase for mine, well, Kratos.
No way.
Yeah. I mean, who would have thunk it, huh? I just wanted to try to capture... So, through talking to Jordan, I knew that there was this new Kratos and there was the old Kratos. I could never really connect with the old Kratos through the conversations that we had.
The young Kratos.
Yes, the young Kratos, sorry. I could never really connect with that character. And I think that's because I have such a fascination with the Nordic area.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Just everything about it, about that area, the ruggedness, individuals themselves,
Right.
what I think of as those people, And so that's what I connected with.
A little bit more wild.
Yeah, a little bit more wild.
Yeah.
There's something fascinating to the Nordic region when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, even their boats at that time. I just connected with that one. So once I knew that was the version of Kratos I was going to do, it kind of just come down to what's he use as a weapon. Put that in there. I knew I wanted flowers because it's American traditional. what's American traditional without American traditional flower?
Right.
Um, Banner? Knew I wanted a banner. Why? Because much American traditional does include banners.
Mhm.
Um, I wanted a simplified or as simplified version of Kratos that I could get so I could really punch in the bold outline. And then I just felt like the sun behind him. I felt like that just, not that it needed to be there, but I felt like something needed to be there.
Yeah.
I felt, and after I put it there, I sit there and looked at it for a minute. I was like, yeah, I kind of dig it.
Mhm.
It kind of completes it. Not that that's probably anywhere in the game whatsoever, but it just felt like it needed something. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Um, the axe that he has is actually much different than this particular axe, but I felt like this particular axe complemented the American traditional
Mhm.
style. So it was just like we said a while ago. It was trying to take something that's done in one style, convert it to a different style. You know, I personally feel like that design works.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think you really nailed the American traditional side of this.
How about your design?
So, my design, I had a lot of fun with it. And I took a lot of inspiration from a bunch of different American traditional pieces and just stuck with that vibe, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And threw that all into one. After knowing that I wanted to do a storm scene kind of behind him, that's whenever I decided to go with young Kratos and just go a bit more rageful with things. I wanted him to be holding the Blades of Chaos, because that's where, like, his weapon all kind of comes into, and that's who he is at that time. Those are the blades he's given, to complete this destruction and become this powerful, rageful character that he is. I wanted to throw in the traditional aspects of it. I did the rope border. I just went with American traditional style roses at the bottom, and then I really enjoyed the skull being down there that kind of just really pops. I like that a lot. And yeah, threw in the Omega symbol, very much tied to God of War, the games, and just kind of rolled with that, and I think it turned out pretty good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
There's some of it that I wish looked better, um, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's all right. I appreciate that it looks like him, you know?
I completely,
Yeah.
I completely agree. I mean, I think that was one thing I was scared about too,
Mhm.
was it just not looking like Kratos,
Right.
especially when you got two different versions of him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, granted, it's two different versions, but I don't know. Just slight little things could totally mess it up and change the entire
Mhm.
entire way he looks.
Right.
So
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think we did a pretty good job though. Did you give yours a title?
vengeance.
Vengeance. Do you have an artist statement?
I spent so much time just trying to come up with a design that I felt like was going to justify not only the character but also justify the style.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wanted to really concentrate on it, and um, felt like I was running myself a little tight on time. So didn't really, like I said, didn't really get the artist statement. I just, and every week I go into it just trying to do the best I can do. I've talked about trying to put feeling into my stuff. This one's kind of difficult to do that with because it's a character.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you can't really put a whole lot of feeling into character. I don't feel like. I think characters like that, they kind of come with their own feeling because there's an
Right.
audience built around it already.
And it's different too whenever you've played the games
Correct.
and you've followed the storyline for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. How about your title?
I'm calling mine Rageful Kratos. And for artist statement, man, what I like about the differences between our two pieces is you really hammered on the American traditional part, and I feel like I really hammered on the Kratos part. And we kind of stuck with like what we know.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Like you stuck with that part, I stuck with that part. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to how you mentioned giving justice to the style. I was really trying to give justice to this character while putting him in this style.
That's so interesting. I love the way you put that because for me, I don't know much about the character. I wanted to give as much to the American traditional as I could.
Right.
And you were vice versa of that. You know
Yeah.
so much more of the character. Not that you don't know a lot about American traditional. I don't want to say that.
Right. I know what you
But
mean though. Yeah. Yeah.
you know the character. So you wanted to do justice for the character.
Mhm.
I don't know it, so I did justice for the style or
There we
tried
go.
to.
Yeah.
So I like the way you put that. Very
Yeah,
cool.
thanks.
Very cool.
Speaking of likes, what do you like about yours?
Well, I will say this. I went 95% of the week hating this drawing.
Yeah.
I mean, I legitimately did. There was just so many things about it that I didn't like. There was just a lot of stuff, and I think a lot of that comes from just not knowing the character. You know, I mean, when you don't know something, and I don't want to make that excuse, but I'm going to use it. When you don't know something,
It's like me with the cars.
it's like you with the cars.
Yeah.
When you don't know something, every decision that you make is an apprehensive decision,
Mhm.
and it makes it difficult and it wears on you. And at the end of the day, it makes it to where you're just like you're almost fed up with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like, I want it done.
Right. And you're
You
thinking,
know?
I can't wait for this to be over. That's exactly how I felt every time we've drawn a vehicle.
And it wasn't until probably halfway through painting that I just really freaking started to like it.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, every aspect of it I like. There is a couple aspects that I don't like, but I'm telling you what, again, one of my favorite things, and I don't know how I do it or why I do it, but it feels like a sticker on a piece of paper.
Feels like a flash piece.
Feels like a flash piece. Feels like a piece that you walk into a tattoo shop and it's going to be hanging on the wall,
Mhm.
framed up, and you could say, I want that on me. Next thing you know, you're sitting down getting a tattoo of that dude. Man, I don't know.
What do you like, Adam?
It's hard to put that into words. It's hard to put something into words when you
Mhm.
went most of the week without liking it
Yeah.
to all
Yeah.
of a sudden thinking,
Well,
this is a really freaking solid piece.
why didn't you like it at first?
You want to know my honest opinion why I didn't like it? I think it's because I can't connect with the character.
Really? Okay.
I really truly think that's
Yeah.
it. I just think it's because I haven't played the game and I haven't connected with the character.
Right.
And you're going to say, well, yeah, but how many things do we draw that we don't connect with or that we haven't, you don't have a personal experience with?
But you also mentioned it before. This character has an audience.
It does.
So you screw up. It's
Everybody's
noticed.
going to know about it.
Yeah. And so it does add a lot of pressure, That's how I felt with the car one. Like, if I don't make this car look like a freaking Hellcat, it's gonna look like trash.
If I was to break it down, I love the flowers. I
Mhm.
love the leaves. I love how I changed the handle up on the axe to meet that more of a American traditional style.
Mhm.
Um, I absolutely, when I was painting it, hated the banner.
Oh, I love I think the banner is one of my favorite parts.
Well, looking at it from a distance, that banner is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Um, if there's the one thing I'm the least happy about is his skin tone, and that's simply because generally when I do stuff like this and I'm unsure about it, I try to do everything on a separate piece of paper just to make sure I can get everything down before I put it on the actual paper that I'm
Right.
drawing on. I had said
Mm.
time and time again through the whole process of painting, when I get to his skin tone, I'm going to use a separate piece of paper, get that, I'm going to call it a wash because that's what I was trying to go
Yeah.
for was a wash. And I'm going to get that wash down and then kind of like what you had said earlier in the day, just kind of start layering it up.
Yeah. So
Man, and for whatever reason, that thought went right out the freaking window.
you just went in.
And I just went in
Yeah.
and then I started playing around with it. And like halfway through painting his skin, I hit that perfect wash.
Did you start at the hands first?
No,
Where'd you start at first?
I started on his abs.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And the wash is here and up here.
Mhm.
And when I hit that perfect wash, I was like, man, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But now it's too late to go back and try to put it over on the ribs because, or
Yeah.
on his abs, because what at that, what was on his abs was already darker than what the wash was.
Right. Right.
And so, if I was to be disappointed about anything, it would be his skin tone. Because then I had to come back in with darker layers
Mhm.
of gray. And I found that when you start doing that and you start getting away from less water in your paint to give it that washy feel or that ashy feel,
Mhm. So
um,
yeah, pinning on this really quick. The point behind Kratos' skin and the importance of all of this is that Kratos is cursed with the ashes of his wife and his daughter that he accidentally killed during his rage. So the Oracle cursed him, and that is what is so significant about Kratos' skin color, is it's his curse. He wears the ashes of his wife and daughter.
which thankfully Jordan had pointed that out because
Yeah.
I was going to go in with just traditional skin tone.
No.
And she's like, dude, you cannot do that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why? What difference does it make? She's like, you cannot do that. She said, just real quick, throw it in Google and tell me why he is the color that he is. Well, I did that, and I find out that, well, he killed his wife and his daughter, and now he's living with a curse. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That is also something that you gain from playing the game.
Yeah.
It's also something you get when you have a connection to that game. I said, I'm going to do just traditional skin tone. You said, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot do it. You're going to be an idiot if you do that.
Yeah.
Almost verbatim, I believe, were her words.
Right.
And that's because she has that connection with this character from playing the games for so many years. But that's my only disappointment that I have with it. The sun, I started out, it wasn't the saturation of the red down around his shoulders wasn't quite that dark in
Mhm.
the beginning. It was just red. And I was like, man, it just feels, it didn't quite feel right. So then I went in with some black, mixed a little bit of black with red, and really
Nice.
pushed in that saturation of the red, kind of
Yeah.
give it that deeper color.
I think it really helps the profile of Kratos pop out of the page a bit more.
Well, and then I did just a very light yellow glow
Yep, I
around
see
his
it.
head. And I feel like that makes a huge difference as well.
I agree.
Um, and I really, it took me a minute to figure that out. It took me a minute to figure out how to do that. Because at first, when I went in with my yellow, it's like, whoa, that's a lot of yellow.
Mhm.
I was like, I don't want that much yellow. I kind of want a glow per se,
Right.
you know? Anyway, once I got to that point, I was like 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, I'm done. I feel like it's great. Don't care for the axe head too much. I feel like there's a little bit more that I could have done with the axe head. I know you disagree with me on that, but to a certain extent, but yeah, I mean overall it's a very strange piece because I went 90, like I said, 95% of the week hating it to in the very last moments feeling like this is a very
Yeah.
solid piece.
And what I tell you,
Let it cook.
let it cook.
Let
Let
it
it
marinate.
cook.
Let it cook.
Yep. You just go in there and you start painting, and then you're gonna love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting piece. I did enjoy doing it. Thoroughly, I should say I thoroughly enjoyed doing it. I enjoy all of our pieces, but
Mhm.
this one here, it's captivating.
And I'm so glad that you ended up liking it.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't say that too much about too many of our challenges that they're captivating, but for whatever reason, this one is pretty captivating to me. So I don't know if it's the style, I don't know if it's the character, I don't know if it's the combination of the two, but there is something about it that's captivating,
I think it's also just how clean it is, you know?
and that could be it too. I
Yeah.
mean, it's. I try to do the best when I do these where there's no background to them. I try to make them as absolutely clean as I possibly can.
Mhm. You're very good at that.
Because eventually I will win one that doesn't have a background and it does look like a sticker on a piece of paper, and I'll be pretty freaking happy when that time comes around. But,
Yeah.
in the meantime, it hasn't happened, so I'm still, just
It could happen
biding my
today.
time.
Could
Biding my
happen today for
time.
sure. Yep.
You never know.
Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Goodness
So,
gracious. Here we go.
knowing what you know now about the game,
Okay.
about Kratos, about
Yep.
God of War,
Mm-hmm.
we've touched more about his curse and what actually is Kratos that we didn't cover in research. When you look at this version of Kratos, do you see a man who found peace, or do you see a man still haunted by his past?
Oh, my gosh. That's a tough question, dude.
It is a tough question.
I'm going to say both.
Both?
Both.
Okay.
Okay.
Why?
Now let me write these down again. What was it? It was haunted by his past.
Right. Do you see a man who found peace, or do you see a man still haunted by his past?
Okay. And this is purely based off what I know from doing what little bit of
Right.
research I've done.
Just what you know.
Yep. Okay. I say both.
Okay.
And here's why. Something I have learned as I've gotten older is regardless of what has happened in your past, you can be angry, you can hate it, you can despise it, you can't change it.
That's right, Adam. That's right.
And at a certain point in your life, you have to accept those things. And you have to be at peace with those things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can also still be haunted by those things.
Right. Still have regret.
Still have regret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Right.
I felt like that was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
I feel
yeah.
like that could have been a mic drop.
All right.
I
My
don't
next
know.
question for you,
Mm-hmm.
not as deep.
Okay.
Tell us about these flowers.
So the flowers. Like I said, American traditional almost always has flowers. I mean, it doesn't always have flowers, but it's one of the easiest.
It's a strong thing to put in for American traditional.
It is a strong thing to put in for American traditional, and it's pretty easy to do, and I feel like it elevates a piece.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the flowers that I did, Dawn Blooms, is an actual flower from the game. However, I got to looking at the color scheme of the flower in the game, and I did not feel like it went with. It's not that it didn't, I just felt like it was going to be too warm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're coming down through, you got his armor that's brown, you got the axe handle that's brown, you have his kilt that's brown, and then you're going to pop in to these flowers that are supposed to be, they're like a orangey reddish color with a teal center on them. But I was afraid that when I put in the orange and the reddish color for the flower, granted they had the teal center on them, it was going to be too warm. So I made an artist decision to jump out of that and go into the purple. And because I wanted something that was going to pop off the page.
Right.
Okay. And that's one thing, when you start looking at American traditional flowers, especially the roses, they're just such a deep, bright, vibrant red that they tend to pop off of stuff.
Right. And they're also so dark at the same time, too.
They are. And so then I was like, okay, I think I can pull off the same effect just using purple. And I think it turned out really well. I think it gives a nice contrast to the overall piece. And then also the banner being that tannish, parchment looking color. That was another driving force of getting away from that orangey red color.
I think that was a good decision because it really helps the banner pop out more around the flowers and around the armor.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying about how it would be a little bit too warm, and I think that it was just a good decision that you made.
Thank you.
To do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
That's about it for me.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I mean, as far as my likes, I am pretty well. That's where I'm at. I mean,
you like it.
I like it.
Yeah.
It was odd the way it come about.
Yeah.
I mean, very odd about the way it come about.
Right.
Let's move on to your likes.
All right. So, likes. Unfortunately, I think I have a lot of dislikes with mine as well.
Really?
Yeah. So, one thing that I dislike about mine is I wish that I would have gone smaller with it and not so fill the page. I wish that I had it back like at least 1 inch, maybe even 2 inches on all sides. Um, so that way it just looked more like a flash piece. Go
Can
ahead.
I ask you a question?
Mhm.
And I know I should be saving this to the end, but that's something I've noticed that you've always done, though.
Yeah, I always do it. I get
You take the entire amount
yeah,
of area.
I always get very illustrated with everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Um, and I think that just comes from me. I'm used to doing full pictures of stuff. You know
Right.
what I mean?
I could understand. I could
I'm
see that.
That's what I do, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so I do wish that I would have toned it back a little bit and gone with a bit more flash piece route. Maybe I'll try that in the future if I do. But I do like this piece. I wish that it was just cleaner, and I think because a lot of the time I was like rushing through this. I'm not the strongest painter in the world by any means, and with this, there's parts of it that is clean, and then there's parts of it where I was just like, I can't wait for this to be over. I just want this to be over, and unfortunately, that's mostly in his wrist bracers and in the Blades of Chaos. And then also the rope border. I wish that was cleaner as well, but I was just rushing through. But getting out of the negative Nancy here, I do like how this looks and how this piece flows. And I like that it's almost telling a story with a lot of American traditional push forward. Like I mentioned before, I wanted to give this character justice. I wanted the storm in the background and those American traditional style clouds. I almost felt like they read a little Greek from the game as well. That's just my own personal opinion. You can think however you'd like, but those were neat to throw down. And I like the lightning and I like the pops of red. How red is not so forward on this, but it's like it presents a very nice contrast throughout the piece itself. Um, I do enjoy the background and I like how I did a gradients of different blues for the storm. How lower it's a very dark blue with black mixed in, and then just pushed it lighter and lighter the more it goes up. And I thought that that added a good contrast with the flow of everything. I love the color that I got on Kratos' skin. I like that so much. And at first, it was it kind of blended into the background a little bit. It was very blue, and I did not like that. So I ended up making a more watered down wash, and I really toned in on Kratos' skin from my reference photos of him. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I mixed in a little bit of tan with it because there are parts of it that it is that very slight, subtle skin color with the ash look forward. Okay. So I washed those in and then I layered that on top of the gray that I already had on there. And I was like, oh, that's all right. That looks pretty good. So I stuck with that. I also really like the red that I got on his red tattoo. The red tattoo is significant to Kratos because his brother dies and he tattoos the red birthmark that his brother had on him to never forget him and like do that in memorial of him. Um, so yeah, uh, I dig it. It's pretty cool. I like it. One thing that I did this week that was brand new, and I was like, Adam, I have super surprise.
Super, super
Super, super
surprised.
surprise. So if you look at my piece, it kind of looks like this is a cutout. Um, if you're just looking at the photo of it, it looks like a cutout from the rope border in, and it's not a cutout. It has Phantom Black on the outside, and Phantom Black absorbs 99% of light. So it's so neat, and that's the style or the effect that I wanted to happen was I wanted that to look like a floating image, just that. So I I loved it. I loved working with the Phantom Black. It looks like there's velvet on the outside, and I think that's really cool. And I think that I would like to do that color more justice in the future. I loved it. We'll definitely be working with it again. I'd like to do some illusion pieces with it.
That
It
would
was
be
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, overall, I like it. My only wish is that I wish it was cleaner, and I think that that just comes with, time having to get this done, and I'm such a slow painter. I'm not a strong painter, but my forms are there, and I think that my forms are pretty decent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I do have some questions for you.
Let's hear it.
Okay. I'm writing this down so I don't forget.
Very good.
Okay. I already asked you about the size. I kind of interrupted you on that. Didn't mean to do that.
No, that's fine.
Um, The omega sign at the bottom. What does that represent in the game? That part I'm a little confused about, and I was kind of curious if you thought about ever leaving the omega sign out.
No, so I wanted to bring in as much God of War to this piece that I could. And if you look at every video game case, the Omega symbol is on every single one of them. And it's from my understanding, forgive me if I'm wrong about this, the Omega symbol is put in there to symbolize the ending of the Greek mythology that Kratos causes, and that Kratos is the only one left. I think, okay?
Okay.
I think. So, the Omega symbol is a symbol that represents Kratos. And like I said, I wanted to put as much as this character into the style that I could. So when somebody looks at this that has played the games before, they're like, oh yeah, Blades of Chaos. Oh yeah, the Omega symbol. Oh yeah, that's Kratos. Oh yeah, Storm. This is young Kratos in Greece. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. The rope, was that just for American traditional, or was that for the game?
That was just for American traditional.
Okay.
I ended up looking at a tattoo that had a lighthouse with a rope border around it.
Gotcha.
And I really liked that rope border. And that's kind of where this effect of Kratos in the center, Storm and stuff came from. And then I just started adding these other bits of the style and bits of the game that I could.
Okay. All right. Now I know, like we discussed in the very beginning of the podcast, you were pretty well deflated when we rolled American traditional.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of more of a question about both our pieces.
Okay.
Okay, because I wanted to ask you this because you are such a fan of the game.
Right.
So, as a fan, and knowing how deflated you were about drawing winding up having to do this in American traditional, what is your opinion of these two pieces? Do you feel like we did not only Kratos justice, but did we do the style justice?
You know, I think that we did the best that we could with what we know. Like I mentioned earlier, you know this style, I think, pretty darn well. And you know that art form pretty well. So you really pushed that art form. You wanted to give that style justice with what you know about Kratos. With me, I know the art form as well, but I also love this character so much that I wanted to bring more Kratos into this. And so I'd mentioned before, I feel like mine is knocking on the door of neo-traditional, you know? But at the same time, you put Kratos in there. You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying because it's hard. It's hard to break your mind away from, you're wanting to do an image of a character,
Mm-hmm.
and American traditional is pretty flat. There is some shading, and it's darker shading,
Right.
but it's not lifelike like neo-traditional is.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think,
And you do struggle with that. Even I struggled with that,
Mhm.
I was like, when I was really kind of going in and put the shading in on his abs, I'm like, man, am I making a mistake here by giving it too much life?
You see, that's where we have to make these decisions, okay? And if I were a client and I go to somebody and I say, I want an American traditional Kratos, I don't want to see a man holding an axe and just be like, here you go. This is a simplified version of Kratos and here's an American traditional style. I'm like, it doesn't look like Kratos. I want it to look like Kratos. You know what I mean? And so if I were that client, I would want to be able to look at that and not be like, who is it? You know, I like looking at it and say, oh shoot, that's Kratos
Okay.
in an American traditional style. You can't say that this is not American traditional.
Oh, absolutely. I
with
don't say that.
Kratos. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do you get that feeling from my piece? Since
Yeah.
I pushed the American traditional so hard.
I can tell that's Kratos.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
One thing that I wish that I saw in yours was his scar on his stomach.
You had told me that.
Mhm.
And like I had already committed.
Right.
It was too late to go back. But I'll go back to that's part of what you don't understand when you don't know the game and
I know,
you can't make
I
that
know.
connection.
And then another thing that I wish that I saw was the scar across his eye.
across his eye.
Yeah.
I noticed it on yours. I have not noticed it on any of the other pictures that I was looking at. Of course, I wasn't really looking for it.
Right. Right.
So I didn't really notice it until I seen yours, and I'm like, oh boy, is he supposed to have a scar across his eye?
Mhm.
Yeah, sure enough, he is.
But we did what we could with this style and with this character.
Right.
And I think that we pushed it just enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I got one more question for you,
Okay.
maybe two,
Okay.
and then I have a request for you.
Oh.
Okay. It's a little bit of a deep question.
All right, let's hear it.
You ready for it?
I'm ready for it.
All right. In your drawing, do you feel like this is strength, or is this what happens when pain turns into rage?
That's a very good question. And it's a good question for this character specifically. And especially during the time period that this character is presented in this drawing, he is full of rage. He is wanting revenge against the gods. And so his strength is also kind of gifted to him from Ares, the god of war, that he ends up killing and defeating, making him in that place of the god of war in Greece. I think if I'm wrong, let me know. Um, but like you mentioned in your question, it's kind of a little bit of both. Kratos is a very, very strong character, but also full of the rage and full of wanting revenge for what he was tricked into doing. I think that this particular piece focuses more on the rage that Kratos had. And I think that that's shown through the storm, through him holding the Blades of Chaos, just ready for another fight. That's about all I got.
Okay. I'm going to answer the same question.
Okay.
From my perspective, through your drawing.
Okay.
There is something strong about Kratos, just in his natural state. Out of all the pictures I've looked at, and I don't mean, the rippling abs and the strong biceps and stuff like that.
Right.
There is a certain amount of strength that his aura carries. And it's going to sound weird because people are like, well, he's a freaking video game character. No, wait, when you start playing these things, you would understand what I'm talking about. So there is a certain amount of strength that your drawing carries. There is also, and I think you did it so much justice, and you are so great at it week after week after week when we're doing characters or we're doing faces. You are phenomenal at pulling out emotion within a face.
Oh, thank you.
Okay?
Thanks.
And so what I see within his face is I see hurt within his eyes, but I see rage within his mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you look at the younger photos or play the games with Kratos in there, he's got that mean look to him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's angry.
Right.
He's pissed off.
Right.
He wants revenge. He wants to kill all the gods in Greece.
Well, and that the overall posture of his neck and his shoulders and the way he's just looking down and he's like, he's ready to hurt you. So I would have to agree. I think it's both. I think it's strength, but I also think it's what pain is when it turns into rage.
Yeah, I agree. He's got the strength. It's there. But this is him full of rage.
Yeah.
From the pain that he's endured during this time.
Yep. No, I agree. I'm going to do one more.
Okay.
Have you ever felt like this before? Have you ever felt that rage or storm inside of yourself?
I think that all of us in our life have experienced something that has hurt us and has led us to wanting revenge, that has led us to wanting to. They have freaking, what are they called? Like destruction rooms now for a reason,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you can just go and rent the room and
destroy
it.
Yeah, I've definitely felt like that before, where I've just wanted to rip everything apart, depending on what was going on that week or who I encountered or what happened to me personally.
I think you're not human if you haven't experienced that.
Exactly.
Now, where we differ is where one stops and one keeps going.
Yeah, exactly.
Then there are other people who are much like Kratos.
That keep going.
They keep going.
Yeah.
That rage fuels them. And they don't understand or know when to stop.
Right. And that is a dangerous person.
That is a dangerous person.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think it's all within us. It's just how do you react to it?
Right.
How do you
Right.
handle it?
And,
How
just going into, like, survival, fight or flight here, in my line of work, like, I've been in a lot of situations where I have just wanted to go feral with some of the stuff that I have to deal with and tear things up, you know what I mean? And having the self-control that you have to have is what also separates us from those people
correct.
or from these style of characters. Having the control, the self-restraint, the fight or flight, you know when to stop, you know when to keep going, you know when to have control, and I think that that's what's shown in the old Kratos version that we have now of the Norse Kratos. And he is the symbolism of controlled strength.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. So, the only request I had from you,
Oh yeah, what's your request?
remember that question you asked me about my picture?
Yeah.
You answer it.
Oh, you want me to answer it?
Yeah,
So, I asked you if you see a man who found peace or if you see a man still haunted by his past.
correct.
I see, I'm not sure if it's quite peace. Trying to think of the right word for it. So, in the fourth game, you open. This is reimagined Kratos that we have here, and you're in the Norse area, and Kratos has this like a little, just I guess cabin is what you could call it, but think a Nordic style cabin, very small.
Right.
And he has a son, Atreus, and it opens with Kratos and Atreus burning the body of Faye, his woman that he had, that is Atreus's mother. She dies. So I'm not sure if there's really peace, but there's just that survival of we move on now. We move on now. We move on now. And I think that's what Kratos tries to teach his son through these two games that we've experienced the last couple of years is having control. Don't lead by emotion, lead by your smarts, lead logically. But then it's really neat. Atreus ends up teaching Kratos as well, like, it's okay for us to be emotional. It's okay for us to care about these things. It's not always just about survival.
It's interesting because we
Yeah,
just had this conversation about those who know when to stop
exactly.
and those
And
who don't know when to stop.
this is the controlled strength that Kratos now has and practices. Um, and it's kind of interesting too, like, Kratos has become, in my mind, like this gentle giant almost. There are a few really cool cutscenes of him dreaming and he's with Faye, and Faye is like asking him questions and he's just like, mm, mm. That's
Right.
how I'll talk. And then in the old games he's like, Ares, or I've
Gotcha.
come for my revenge, Zeus, or whatever.
Right, right.
Yeah. So he's
He's getting wiser in his old age.
exactly. He's gotten a lot wiser. He thinks. Before he talks type of guy.
Right.
Um, so peace, I'm not quite sure if it's really peace, but it is survival and learning and searching for that peace. At the end of the game Ragnarok, I think is where he also is leading in to finding more peace. Spoilers here, but Atreus ends up going to do his own thing, and Kratos has peace with that. He's learned more about how it's okay to be in touch with his emotions and the emotions of other people, and it's okay to listen to the other people and to listen to his son. Yeah, and still haunted by his past, I think absolutely, but still moving on and still learning what he can of, like, this is what not to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. There's a really cool part at the beginning of Ragnarok where Kratos is fighting Thor, and Thor is like, I want to see the god of war, show me what you're made of. And it's so sick. Like, Kratos lands this sick punch on Thor, and then it's a really sick scene where it's like boom and then boom in slow motion, and Kratos like is like, and it's just a cool scene to experience.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a really cool game to play. Um, and Thor is like, "There you are," and then Thor leaves, you know? So, it's just cool. It's just cool. I think yeah, I just think it's just such an awesome game, such an awesome story. Haunted by his past still, learning to survive, moving on. Yeah. So let's get into overcoming challenges and medium challenges that we had this week.
Yeah.
What are some challenges that you had?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't know that. Okay, so when we first started, we both bought acrylic paints.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I mean, these are the cheapest paints that we could find. What was it, like $11 for a set of 48 or something like
Yeah,
that?
it
So
wasn't much.
really cheap paint.
And so what was kind of cool about those paints is that you have a vast number of colors.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of, you got complacent with, okay, well, I think this one's pretty close, or you might have to add just a little bit here, a little bit there,
Yeah,
and mix your paint still. But it, you felt almost like you had more options.
right.
And I say felt like because we bought new paints. We ended up with some Liquitex paints, which are
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, and they're really highly recommended by people that just like using acrylic paint and starting out artists and then artists that have still been using them. Yeah.
Yeah, and they got a name behind them that runs,
Mm-hmm.
decades long. Because they've been making paint for a long time.
Right.
Anyway, uh, so we went from having, 40 or 60 different paint tubes to having 12 or 6.
Yeah.
I don't remember what's in the set. So now you're mixing every single one of your
Mm-hmm.
colors. It's more challenging, but it's also more gratifying,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think is a good way to put that. As far as the other challenges with the medium, I don't know that there was any other challenges because I feel like it almost got easier because it's a better quality paint.
I agree. I agree. I think it totally got easier. And I had mentioned to Adam before, whenever he's like, "Oh man, another paint challenge." I was like, "I think that you would really enjoy it if we got some better quality paints. A
And I
lot,
did.
a
I
lot
did. She
easier
was
to control and manipulate those colors." I feel
yeah.
like with these that we use, with our old ones, I just had to layer and layer and layer and to get a color to pop on our page.
And I think that if you laid these side by side to our other acrylic challenges,
Oh yeah.
these are going to be a bolder, deeper, more saturated color,
Right.
and I just feel like that comes from the quality of the paint.
Mhm.
It also lays down smoother, but you can also lay it down and really, these are going to be phenomenal paints for one of your favorite styles
Impressionism.
of impressionism.
Yeah.
They are going to be really good because you can get into that hard body paint,
Heavy body.
heavy body paint,
Yeah.
and it's going to hold those brush strokes.
Mhm.
I, for one,
Yeah.
hate seeing brush strokes in my stuff. I want that smooth, buttery transition.
But it's a painting.
But impressionism, you want to see those heavy, bold brush
Mhm.
strokes. So, in some aspects, yes, the medium was more challenging, and others it was less challenging.
Yeah.
So, how about you? Any challenges with the medium?
Medium challenges, not really. I think it was more so just a style that was the challenge for me this week.
All right. Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, I loved working with the paints. It was just a style for me. Just a style, but it was cool. It was a lot of fun.
I think, like I said, it would be interesting, and I would like to do that when we're done. Just kind of lay them side by side with our other acrylic challenges, because I think you really see a true difference between
Yeah,
the
and
type of
just kind
paints.
of point out the differences that are there. I
Yeah,
think that'll be
yeah.
cool.
I bet
Yeah.
there are differences that you're gonna see.
Yeah. Now how about collaboration?
I feel like we did a little bit of collaboration.
Yeah.
Now it wasn't in the way that
We usually do.
we usually do it because I ended up having to work, wasn't expecting to work. I mean, it was what it was, but we spent a good majority of time on the phone. Jordan was doing all of her stuff. I kind of didn't get to do much on the phone with Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
but
I think that where collaboration was important this week is
just the research behind it,
the research
behind
behind it,
Kratos, and
and then
having your knowledge
yeah,
of the
yeah.
game helped me so much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I feel like I asked a fair amount of questions, and I felt like there was one night that we talked, and I just felt like I was just full of all this
Yeah.
doubt.
Don't be full of doubt, man. I think you did a really great job.
Well, but I think that was corrected by your knowledge of the character, and just you giving me that knowledge
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't have, that I didn't hold, that I didn't possess.
Thanks.
I think it helped elevate my piece.
It kept you from a couple errors.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
couple. There was
yeah,
still a few that I made, but overall, I think the build just turned out very solid.
yeah.
Very cool to be able to mesh two styles together
Mm-hmm.
and come up with this.
It was neat. It was
It
neat.
was.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I guess we could move on to segment number 2.
Yeah, the
Out
out with
with
the
the
old
old
and
and
in
in
with
with the
the new.
new.
So, our challenge coming up this week, Adam has finally gotten his
A
flower. A
flower.
flower.
I have
And
been waiting on to do a flower for how many
ever,
weeks?
ever, a long time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to be doing a flower. I think it should just be left up to whatever flower you want to do. Yeah, just do whatever flower you want. I
Yeah.
don't think we should have to do
Is
the
it a
same flower.
single flower, multiple flowers?
I think you do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
Cool.
Whatever feels right.
Yeah.
But we're doing flower and graphite pencil, thank the Lord. And
Realism.
the best part about it, realism.
Realism.
Realism. Very excited about that. I don't really have any current ideas going on. I think I'm just gonna.
Oh, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah. You gonna draw one of your photos?
I'm gonna draw one of my photos.
There we go.
I got lots of photos. We have a really cool place not too far from here that it's just this huge garden.
Yeah.
And last summer, oddly enough, when I got into going to the store, getting sketchbooks,
Yeah.
really starting to get back into drawing, I dropped my wife off. I think she's going to lunch with her sister or something. So I dropped her off so she'd go eat lunch with her sister, and I ran over to this garden and just kind of walked around, started taking pictures, and I got some pretty cool pictures. And man, from that point on, I was like, I just want to sit down and draw one of the pictures I've
Yeah.
taken.
Yeah.
Because I think that'd be kind of cool.
This is a prime opportunity to.
And this is a prime
Yeah.
opportunity to do so. I've been waiting the better part of, I don't know, like 6 months to do this.
Right.
Or however long it's been. It's been almost 6 months, has it not?
Just about.
24 weeks. 24
Just
weeks,
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. It's definitely one of my photographs that I've done. And then, just make it as real as I can,
Yeah.
and shade it nice and pretty, and,
Yeah.
keep it clean.
Right.
Keep it
Are you
clean.
going to be doing a flash piece with this flower?
Probably not.
Probably not. You're
No.
doing background.
I'm gonna do background. It's gonna be painstaking, but I think I'm gonna do background. Or I'm gonna add something into the background.
Right.
You know.
You know me,
Maybe.
I'm doing background.
Of course.
I'm doing background.
One of these days, I'm gonna force you to do a flash piece.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. Bree loves plants. She's all about plants.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that I'm gonna have to use her this week and find out what good flowers to do.
I mean, we kind of have them everywhere too.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've been waiting for a long time to do this, and I kind of got, backstory on that. I kind of got really like middle school, high school
Mhm.
art. One of my favorite things to do was like when the teacher would say, "Hey, go home and do still life." And one
Yeah.
of the big things that they would really hit on is like setting up a vase with flowers and stuff in it.
Right.
And just sitting down at your kitchen table and drawing it,
Right. Yeah.
and so I think coming back into art, that's the one piece of art that I've just been kind of like missing out, So kind of cool to be able to go back and revisit that. But
Right.
anyway, do you have any more to add?
I don't think so. I think, gosh, what a podcast. We had a lot to talk about this week, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know that we've enjoyed talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry it's been a long one, but I mean, it's just been kind of an odd topic, I think, because it's, for me, especially going into it, not liking it and coming out loving it. So,
And what I think also is that whenever we discuss something in this depth with a character that maybe not a lot of our people know about, it kind of helps them relate to it a little bit.
oh, for sure.
With our discussions
For
on
sure.
this. Yeah.
But I also like a long log. Good grief. I like a long podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, hey, thanks for tuning in to Talk Parlor number 13, the podcast where we discuss how we went head to head with artwork and put it up for your all's vote.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook at Parlor number 13 by JNA, as well as on Instagram and Talk Parlor number 13 on YouTube. You can also find us on all of your favorite podcasting platforms.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment with your thoughts.
And as always, it's creativity flowing.
Let your inspiration soar.
And together,
We create
we inspire
and we transform art into a journey.
into a journey.
Yeah, see you guys at the next challenge, and wherever you are,
Be safe.
be safe.
Peace out, guys.
Right on.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Awesome.